I'm just looking over some stuff real quick before we talk about it. I'm looking at this. Okay. This might explain why. All right. All right. So this might explain why the UK and Ireland is so invested. Doggerland was area land now submerged between the North Sea that connected Britain to the continent of Europe. Ancient Dogland included the parts of the coastline, modern day France, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, New Orleans, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. Now, a lot of people think the United Kingdom may not play no part in the ascension process, or what benefits the United Kingdoms to keep on, interfering with America online, so on and so forth, right? So, if you understand how these ancient wars work, going back to the Nephilim reversal grid, right? The Nephilim reversal grid is coming out of the United Kingdom. Okay. And this is going back to the Baphomet. All right. This is why I say knowledge is key. This is why I implore you guys to get this knowledge, right? Let me show you. So right here, it says, you know, approximately 22,000 years ago, the NA introduced intruders groups targeted the Celtics and Druid lineage for the. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. This is like the easiest way to do it.
Approximately 22,000 years ago, the NAA intruder groups targeted the Celtic and Druid lineages for a genocidal campaign on the United Kingdom landmass in order to eradicate the Melchizedek Christos teachings, Atlantean history, and to spread false records about the Celt and Druid lineages. In order to destroy the accurate records of humanity's star origins and historical artifacts, the original ancient Celtic languages that were connected to the original 12 Essene tribes were purposely made extinct or erased in order to remove the living light codes that were inherently spoken and expressed through these Magi Grail king lines. See Celtic massacres / Druid sacrifices. 3. Another Guardian bridging project coming to the forefront has been the rehabilitation of the architecture of fallen grids in Asia, feeding a large circuit along false dragon lines back to the United Kingdom. China and Tibet are the original planetary stargate locations for Orion, 8D, and Andromeda, 9D. The Galactic Wars recorded the blood and genetic discrimination, Orion Wars and Draconian history, and their distorted male-female archetypes, Vesica Pisces harness with twin monads splitting, into the Asian grids. These grids have been shown to feed back a massive power structure to the main headquarter reversal hub, the Nephilim Reversal Grid, NRG, which is active in the United Kingdom. In order to dismantle the NRG, the various hubs feeding it from all over the planet need to be dismantled systematically while freeing the soul enslavement used to power these grids. This has been transpiring in the Guardian teams since my awareness of them in 2008-4.
If you heard what that said, then this is probably why so many people from Ireland and so many people from the UK are interested in, the black tea sector, right? That's why they're paying attention to the black tea sector. They know that this knowledge this old knowledge. They know that the Druid lineage, right? The Druid lineage, the ones who knows about alchemy, the ones who knows about Kundalini, so on and so forth. They know that they will peak again. They know. So they're playing this game on social media where anybody who's talking about the chakra systems, anyone who's talking about the alignment, anyone who's talking about becoming, sovereign free within the mind and telling people the chakra systems and the alignment of the vessel and so on and so forth, they know that we're putting that knowledge back down here, and they are attacking and targeting anyone who is putting that knowledge back down here. Now, if you guys want to get into the details of this, right? This is going to go as the cosmic Helaim parents further further descend into the planetary grid network through the Albanine light body, right? This is where your light body comes in, right? Control central location, United Kingdoms. Now, when I say that this is about energy and they're harvesting energy, I mean they are tampering with people's feelings and emotions, playing psychological war games, trying to make people think that they're not this and they're not good. And, everybody here in America is bad and everybody here in America is this way or that way. You watching and you're seeing them playing on these different variations of things, especially in the black tea sector. So when everyone sits here and wonder, why does the UK have so much involvement in the black tea sector? Why does these characters from Ireland have so much involved? And you guys don't know the depths of it, right? And I've been over here trying to point out the depths of it to you guys for a while now, trying to tell you guys it's deeper than that, right? Yeah, they might have some allies. They might have some of our people working with them in order to tear down other people, so on and so forth. But this is that grid that I speak about. This is what's taking place. This is why you see these different variations of manipulation take place during the ascension process, especially coming from these locations, right? If they were the ones who originally was trying to push this variation of stuff out of circulation 22,000 years ago, then you can see why they're still doing it now, right? You can still see why this is happening now, right? So when you want to understand this, you got to go back to the Doggerlands. You can't go back to, was it about the Queen? Was it about this? No, you got to go back further than that. You got to go back further than that, right? So certain variations of things do have different levels of depth to it. When you're talking about the emerald crystals, you're talking about the Elohims, so on and so forth. This is going back to that Druid religion, the Celtic Druid religion. When you're talking about St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day was a time where they, unalived a group of people who knew about the Kundalini through a Brotherhood of the Serpents concepts, and they, destroyed a whole group of people, and they said that they were getting rid of snakes. So, but this was what they later depicted to be St. Patrick's Day, and this is coming out of Ireland. So this is why I say you gotta dig a little bit deeper, and then you'll see why, I don't feed or give the response that these particular personas want. Scotland, we're going to get into this portal. We're going to get into the Celtic Church of Nazarenes, right? We're going to get into the Knights Templar invasion at Sin's Temple massacre. Now, this is all stuff that took place in the Celtic Druid uh, grid bloodline, right? So even Moses, when he went into his when he went and met his wife's father taught him all the things of the Druid religion. And these are the things that they're trying to push out of circulation: alchemy, chakra systems, understanding oneself, the vessel, becoming sovereign free within the mind, so on and so forth. So these are the things that we're going to talk about. Um, we can open the panel if people want to come up, if they have questions about it or whatever the case may be. Just ask me to drop the link. I'll drop the link. But this is basically why they say that they don't know why they involved. They're going to come up with all types of bullshit. They're going to come up with all types of ways to deflect of why they are over here in the black tea sector doing what it is that they do. You know, torturous interference, whatever big name you want to put on it, global conscious enslavement, right? This is what's going on, global conscious enslavement. But the ones who's pointing it out, the ones who's telling you about it, we are going to be the target. We are going to be the people that they attack. I mean, my page ain't got that many, but you can see multiple people holding lives about me trying to tear down what it is or whatever it is they think I'm building or not building. Whatever it is they think I got going on or not going on, right? You can see them showing their self. You can see them rearing their head more, if you would say, right? So they are frustrated in various different ways. They are petrified of the truth, right? And appreciate the happy birthday in the chat. So that's why I say like a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about and a lot of stuff that we're going to touch on, they're scared to talk about this. They are so scared to talk about this in fear that someone, and I'm sorry, I was just doing that so I can get the link to the Discord, so I can drop the Discord link if anybody wanted to join the Discord. Um, they are very, very scared to talk about this. This stuff right here frightens them. And I don't know. To me, all right, there you go. The link is in the disc. I mean, I dropped the link if anybody want to join the Discord. These are the things that we're going to get, push into talking about. These are the things that we're going to push into the conversation. Um, but I want you guys to listen, right? And then we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into the Scotland, you know, Hyperborea portal and, why they push this low vibrational frequency of negative fear and so on and so forth. We'll get to the locations, why these locations are important, why they're doing what they're doing, so on and so forth, right? A lot of people say, well, what do United Kingdom have to do with America? What do Ireland have to do with America? What do Canada have to do with America? What do any of these places have to do with America? Well, if there's an energy grid that's up under us through Lee lines and they want to use the energy of the people, they will have to manipulate the people that are on that Lee line in order to use that negative energy that's coming from it. So this is why it's very important that you understand this, because they are putting people in negative or low vibrational frequency. And it could be just attacking your character. It could be just constantly hosting lives about you, or a bunch of people trying to host a live about you, or however they want to look at it. They really have no quarrel with you. They really have no personal, interactions with you or anything like that. But they are still trying to create a narrative about you or make you fight off a narrative about yourself, however you want to look at it. So they're going to continue to do. It doesn't matter what you prove to them. It doesn't matter what you show them. It doesn't matter what you give them. It doesn't matter if you say, okay, let bygones be bygones. It don't even matter if you agree with them and said that they were right about everything that they were saying. They are still going to continue to host lives about you, right? Because of what you're doing, especially if you're putting knowledge and wisdom and understanding back into the collective, back into the minds of the multitude. If you're telling people to think and use their brain and so on and so forth, however you want to look at it, this is the ascension process. This is the awakening. And you know like I always say, everybody's not going to make it because everything ain't for everybody.
From approximately 22,000 years ago until the more recent histories of non-human entity invasion to subvert and take over the Christos angelic human DNA, the Celtic Druid Grail bloodlines organized and went underground to hide and protect the genetic records and Gnostic wisdom of the original Magi Grail lines, as well as the ancient texts of the Solar Dragon Kings. These are the ancient builder races from the god worlds which recorded the mechanics of creation in the Emerald Founder records, which held the highly coveted secrets of the Magi Grail kings or Solar Dragon kings of the many assorted diamond sun lineages. These genetic bloodlines were alchemically conceived and genetically mastered to be the benevolent leaders and guardian Grail kings to protect and preserve the earth in order for her to fulfill her emerald crystal heart position to activate the divine plan of universal ascension. There was an Ascension Timeline rebellion in which extra-dimensional non-human forces claimed
Thank
ownership
you.
over all Earth humans and planetary resources and began secretly infiltrating into all positions of power over the advanced human society. Thus, began the genocidal agendas to eradicate the Celtic Grail King's DNA, whom had preserved the Blue Flame Keeper's Melchizedek Christos teachings from Atlantean and Hyperborean timelines upon 7D Gaia. It is possible that many of these groups are the original Israelites that fled to Ireland and then migrated to northern Scotland Islands and Wales in order to survive. Then about 9,500 years ago, there was another major diaspora of Celtic Druid Grail lines that were being hunted down for extinction, including the red-haired giants from the Hyperborean lines of Gaia that came here through the 7D portal systems in the northern tip of Scotland, Greece, and Peru.
Did you guys hear that, or is it did it did the sound come through? Somebody put a one in the chat if the sound came through.
World has lost its mind, running wild trying to find more money, more time to fix the loss, make it alright. It ain't easy going through this life, blinded by false light, feeling dead inside.
Hear the music?
But there's hope for wrongs to be made right, long as we can stay living collectively today. All we want, all we need, all we ever really wanted was you. All we ever really needed was you. You, I love you. Ah. Another year, another tear, another word, another ear. Wisdom only speaks to understanding that can't hear. Believing by only seeing makes the vision unclear. High tides of love will flood, the Atlas family is one. All we want, all we need, all we ever really wanted was you. All we ever really needed was you. You, Atlas, you. Ah. Ah, ah, ah. All we ever really wanted was you.
So yeah, certain variations of things that's taking place right now. A lot of people might not have a grand understanding for. A lot of people might not even know what's going on. But I try to meet people where they're at. I try to, come down and help people understand from a perspective, whether it be Christian, Muslim, religion, Catholic, it doesn't matter what understanding you came into this, right? It's all connected to the global consciousness. It's all connected to the global consciousness. And it don't matter, what group you're in, what sector you're in, what the nomination you're in. None of that stuff really matters, because once the knowledge is put back, everyone will have a grander understanding of it. The sun is sending solar flares that are, tampering with the minds of the multitude, different variations of things that's taking place inside the body, and no one's really speaking about it. No one's really saying, like, hey, I'm having a different change of mind. Like, I don't want to be a part of that, gossip mill anymore. I don't want to, be a part of that group anymore. But you've been doing it for so long, you've been supporting it for so long, however you're looking at it. So now a lot of people are coming into a grander understanding of things, but don't really want to speak about the grander understanding that they're coming into. Why? Because the group that they're in is going to shun them for it, or they're going to get kicked out the group that they're in, right? So a lot of people are scared to speak up, and say, hey, listen, I'm having a change of mind. There's one thing that can change in this world is people. People can change. So it's like a lot of people are not having that grander understanding to say, you know, I'm having a change of thought. I'm thinking differently. I want to try to get along with people, right? Because after you hang out with people that don't get along with people, you're the one that's sitting in a group like, man, maybe I want to get along with people. Maybe I don't want to just not get along with people. Hey, let me bring it to the group and see what they think about getting along with people, right? It's gonna tear the group apart. Hey, what? You want to get along with people after we spent thousands of years, our ancestors done fought people, and now you want to get along with people? I know it's hard for, you know, and that's why I say, like, a lot of the stuff that how I see things, how I understand things, it might not be the way that you understand things. But if we were all searching for the same thing, which is peace, then maybe you need to have an open mind on how someone else see things. Maybe you need to open your mind on how someone else understand things, right? But if we're going at this closed-mindedly, then we're never going to truly see, what it is that we want to see. We're going to keep on seeing the things that other person is shoving in your face. They're going to shove it in your face. And I think over the time that we've been on YouTube, I think we watched and experienced that. As a collective, we watched and experienced these different groups of personas try to make our fight what they wanted to be. If you watch the Snoopies, if you watch the Goldens, if you watch the Jaguars, if you watch the Danny Robinsons, if you watch the Donuts, if you watch the AT2s, it was always them who was fighting something, never us. We came and laughed. We pointed out some stuff. We showed facts. We showed receipts to back up the facts, right? But we also put this knowledge out there. And none of them would speak about the knowledge that we were putting out there. None of them would talk about this part. None of them. All of them decided to have some sort of recollection of attack, right? And this is what brings me to the reverse network, the Black Sun, right? These are some conspiracy theories, but I think we need to understand it because our uh it seems like more people are operating within this black sun, within this reptilian part, however you want to look at it, whatever you want to call it, right? Operation of the black sun. Now we're going to get into that. And like I said, this is just a freestyle for today. Maybe as the week go on, I'll better organize this to bring it to you in different variations of segments. But I'm jumping around for a reason, probably because I got ADHD. but mostly because I have no particular outline of where I'm going with this, right? I'm just freestyling it just to try to bring people into a grander understanding of just how much knowledge and information we've lost already, right? We don't know this stuff. When you try to talk about this stuff, people don't want to hear about this stuff. But guess what? The elites know about the gates that's in Iran, right? This is why we're about to go into a fight right now. These people know about this Black Sun program and the Luciferian rebellion and so on and so forth, right? And a lot of them don't want us to know about it. They keep us distracted. Why the other ones, they play the black magic. They do all of this different stuff. So I think if we're going to understand exactly what game is being played, I think we need to know the false gods. I think we need to know the operation of this program, right? So that way you can look out for it better. I already know it. This is why I duck it. So, even though they try to make it seem like I didn't duck it, I didn't call it out, I wasn't 10 steps ahead, I didn't, point this out or that out, and, they're going to make it seem like that because they know. See, we stand in the light. We never been afraid of anything that they might say about us. We never been afraid of our truth coming out. I mean, even on TikTok, I have put out different stories of myself where I have spoke freely. So we never been afraid of what they can find about us, because we already been an open book. We already been transparent, at least with the collective that has drawn themselves to, the Atlas family and everything that we do talk about over here, right? I know you guys like it when I get into the joking and I'm tearing somebody down because of this or that. I know it's fun, but we also have to put this knowledge back into circulation too. We also have to put that. I know it's fun, going back and forth with Jaguar Wright or any of these other content creators. I know that part is fun, right? And I know it's entertaining, and I know y'all drawn into that, right? Because who roasts better than us? I think we're like 7-0, if not 11-0 over here, right? So we already been proven to be the best roasters over here as far as, not trying to put any titles on people as far as charges and all of that stuff. We ain't do none of that, right? But we roast with the best of them. We provided facts, knowledge about truths that people said about these characters. Some people are upset because they might be under investigation or they might be losing money about the clarity that we shined on certain situations. So I can understand why they're targeting me. Money is being lost. They were supposed to make so much money off the Ada situation. They were supposed to make so much money off the Ronnie Bo situation. They were supposed to, manipulate big homie CC for however long with the whole security of the thing. So, I get it. Different variations of things is taking place, and people are being looked at a little bit more closely. Fake nonprofit organizations, cruelty free music. People trying to say that they're getting money for acting classes, but never took any acting classes. Different variations of things, and now all lawsuits are being put in. Not on our end, not yet. At least not yet. But we were trying to find out some names, but that's okay, neither here nor there. Once you know that you can sue an avatar, I think that's the only name that you actually need, right? Once you know you can actually sue somebody avatar. So once we get with Kimmy and find out that, we'll take care of that on the back end. We're not really worried about that too much. But I think the knowledge still needs to be put back. I think this knowledge still need to be put back. Maybe we'll do like some, throwback Friday or something where we go back and look at all of the people or personas that we had to come across, just for this little small space over here. And even the people that's still throwing their shots and throwing their, hey, we'll give them a time, but it'll be on our time, maybe somewhere far in the future when we just want to bring them up, or we'll just continue to bring them up periodically, as like an inside joke for everybody that was here in the beginning. But neither here nor there. A lot of this stuff is taking place right now. Okay. Now you might not understand what's happening because it might be a little bit psychological, but let me tell you what's happening right now. All right. If you want to know what's happening right now, put a one in the comment section. Yeah, I can't give it no more of my energy either. Like I'm over it. Like they once I see like more and more people just keep on like come on, like at this point, they're running out of people, They're running out of people. Um, but it is what it is. And until we get our apology from Danny Robinson, we're gonna be on her too. Because she owe us an apology. She owes an apology. I know she wanna be all I don't owe you apology for nothing. I ain't gotta apologize for nothing. Listen, what's done is done. You owe us an apology. You made some assumptions. You defame character. You know, apology is probably better than a lawsuit, but I go for the lawsuit too. Don't matter. But yeah, I think somebody asking for an apology about defamation of character. I think that should be given, especially if you the one that defamed their character. But who am I? Y'all live in this world where I said what I said, and I ain't gotta apologize, and don't know how to humble yourself.
The negative alien agenda NAA is to force the planet to serve another multiple species controller agenda through imposing false replicated time fields using biowarfare technology such as holographic inserts, AI, and mind control, namely created under genetic reptilian insectoid archon extraterrestrials, at the expense and life force of the human race and the kingdoms under the human domain. Much of the NAA is veiled in the shadow levels of the ET and human military industrial complex, the primary takeover access in the naval forces and in the underground bases of the Earth. It appears Earth was invaded several times by hostile negative aliens, with a major shift occurring 26,000 years ago during the Luciferian Rebellion, Atlantean Cataclysm, and leading to the latest event during the Sumerian Egypt invasion. These agendas are still in effect today and impact all human and earthly life as an enforced enslavement on a prison planet, being harvested for a variety of resources to send back to off-planet. Controllers, such as collecting energetic quanta of human life force and earthly minerals.
Now, to some people, that might be a little bit far fetched. To some people, that might be a little bit far fetched. They might be like, "What? Like, no, like that's a little bit far fetched for some people." But, but, what if? Let's say, what if? Right? Right? They're not gonna see it. They don't want to see it. That's the thing. They don't want to see it. Right? So here's some things that you might have a better understanding for, right? Chemtrails, genomic engineering, or terraforming for preferred race lines, right? Parallel AI built on base 10 templates, top of the chain, and 10D Pluto matrix, war, bloodlust, biological extermination, child's essay. You see the things that's on the screen. You could read them. I hope you could see them. I try to make it as big as possible. But you see this, right? And this is going into the dragon, moth, Draco, Anunnaki, uh, necromites, Zedites, um, Marduk. If anybody studied Marduk, you would know Okamacron, Saturn, Satan, Satanic, so on and so forth. These are different variations of things that goes with the operation of the black sun. Now, the black sun is a false agenda. This goes back to masterminds of Council of Nicaea, Church of Rome, Catholic Essenes, Crusades, human Holocaust, so on and so forth, right? Now, this is the time of Constantine. however you want to look at it, when he changed the symbols of the body or the symbols in the body to be personas. He changed these symbols. Now, a lot of us don't understand this. Why? Because the knowledge has been lost. The knowledge has been lost. They took it out. They took it out of our DNA. Here's the three main agendas. And tell me if it sounds right. Tell me if it sounds right according to today's age. All right? Tell me if it sounds right according to today's age. Love is love. Love is love. Appreciate it. Appreciate you for stopping in. Hmm. What if game? So tell me if this sounds accurate. Let's take a listen real quick.
Very human being that has been contacted by interdimensional entities or has suffered through abduction scenarios should be well aware that the Earth holds great interest for these non-human entities that want to access the entirety of the planetary genetic library without restrictions. On planet, the history of the human genetic race line and tribal affiliation is key-coded to interdimensional Stargate mechanics in the grid network, which is held in the DNA record of the incarnated human being even when its potentials remain dormant and inactive. The high majority of those that are contacted or abducted are directly related to the genetic affiliation that the human being has had with one out of three primary interdimensional stellar agendas that are connected to that particular star family located in higher dimensional realities. Those that serve the Emerald Order Covenant uphold the cosmic sovereign law for achieving human freedom and planetary liberation, which extends beyond this universe into the cosmic source domains and go all the way back to the first God world creation. The other two, Belial Group and Black Sun Alien AI hybrids, originally sourced from a fallen parallel matrix called WISA, which serve the One World Order government with the current transhumanist slavery agenda for implementing the Great Reset. 5.
Basically, it's telling you that they're going to implement a false reset during the Great Reset. Does that make sense? One's in the chat if that makes sense. They're going to do a false reset in order for the Great Reset. So there's a Great Reset happening right now, but they're trying to implement a false reset for that Great Reset, right? Let's go to the Great Reset. Their Great Reset, and we definitely can't get into this. I just seen the top of the page, and what the top of the page said, I already know we can't get into this part of it. Lost knowledge of human civilization, lost knowledge of human civilization. ending human trafficking. Okay. So the very top of the page, you see what the very top of the page say? The Great Reset for unlimited access to children. You see that? Now, tell me, do we see this in the world right now? This is what they're doing. They're creating the chaos in the world. We're paying attention to the chaos in the world. And that gives them what? Unlimited access, right? So if you're looking at how the imagery is playing, look at how they got Krishan Rock. Krishan Rock is pretending to be a mom that's not paying attention to her kid at all. And they're about to mimic it by coming out with the Bad Moms Club, right? And what does that give them? Unlimited access, right? We're worried about work, overtime, trying to make a day, trying to pay bills, so on and so forth. What our kids doing? Online, Fortnite, online, playing video games. What that gives them? Unlimited access, right? While we sitting here struggling in the workforce, doing this, doing that, paying attention to this bull crap, that bull crap. I want you guys to think about it. If I am in the sector that is the black tea sector, right? Then you guys see it the most. Jaguar say, she saved kids. I ain't never see no kids. Y'all don't never see none of these success stories. Atwood's over there manipulating, black culture, society, or whatever. He's getting paid all the money. We getting paid all the bull crap. You got these characters online that goes with this tearing each other down concept and make it seem like that's the thing to do, and fun and fun and fun. I mean, we showed that we can hold our own. We showed that we can, get in there, but that's not something that we like to do. That's not something that we want to keep doing. Like, at some point, y'all gonna have to put some knowledge on the table. At some point, y'all gonna have to do something else. Yeah, we showed we can go toe to toe with this person. We showed we can stand in the paint with that group. We showed that you know. But at some point, we gonna have to put some knowledge on the table. When the knowledge gonna get put on the table? That's all I'm saying. All these other characters, they keep on portraying this, portraying that, or out there trying to defame my character, say this, say that, based off of because they don't like me. They don't ever want to talk about the knowledge. There's no debate with them when it comes to that. They don't want to talk about that. What do they get on here and say? Your teeth. That's it. That's all they ever say. Your teeth. But what can you do? What can you do? Stepping stones, you know? We're trying to move forward with positivity. We're trying to move forward with some knowledge. I mean, yeah, we can participate in some bull crap here and there. You might see me pop up over here, might see me pop up over there. But we gonna put this knowledge back on the table. We gotta put this knowledge back on the table. You know, we can worry about Jaguar's black bra later. You know what I mean? But we gotta put this knowledge back on the table. Hmm? We could worry about what's going on with Wolf Coochie's neck later. We got to put this knowledge back on the table. You know, we could worry about what's going on with Lady Letitia in general, but we got to put this knowledge back on the table. You know, and that's one thing that they don't never mention is the knowledge that we put back on the table. Oh, we show we can operate at their frequency. We show we can, you know, but when they putting that knowledge back on the table? When they gonna put the knowledge that they got on the table? Because I'm not sitting at a table that ain't nobody putting no knowledge back in. I'm not sitting at a table where, person don't really understand what's going on, right? So let's fast forward. You already see what this is, but let's fast forward to 2030 agenda, right? If you understand what's going on, you know why they're distracting you. And when you start listening to the different programs, you'll start being like, damn, that sound more like what's going on right now.
The intensity of this stage of the bifurcation brings many more cracks to see through the facade of the mainstream deceptions, as the propagandists are desperate to blare the foghorns of fear throughout the masses to keep them marching towards the desired goals of mass genocide carried out by the non-human controllers. Indeed, there are areas that pose higher risk and are even dangerous as descending hubs, and we must be careful to pay attention to where our inner spirit is guiding us. A line was drawn in the sand on 7 to 7 between the spiritual warriors for Christos and those serving the Antichrist spirit, in which rounds of aggressive technological warfare have been targeted to many spiritual groups, spiritual communities, and newly awakening individuals. This could be compared to the next generation of weaponry in deploying asymmetrical warfare, using surprise ambush attacks targeting many different groups. We are witnessing another level of covert high technological weaponry of extremely insidious mind control tactics, along with the intimidation rhetoric being used to mandate the injection of a bioweapon. This is another heightened level of spiritual warfare which can have serious impacts on the mental health of those caught in its crossfire. Thus, all means of spiritual edification through prayer, meditation, inner study, and developing a passionate connection with God and cosmic Christos to guide you in divine alignment and divine location is the best defense. See Pestilence Program. 2.
See, that's what y'all gonna have to do right now. That's what y'all gonna have to do right now. Y'all gonna have to, have a grander understanding for yourself, seek knowledge, and get out the way. Because if you look at what's going on, there's a lot of mayhem, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of, weird stuff going on, and now it's normalized. It's normalized to see the weird stuff. It's normalized. If you guys don't know what I mean, you see it all over YouTube, you see it all over different variations of streams, right? Let's just break down different parts of it. And you guys tell me if it sounds like it's going on, right? One's in the chat if this sounds like it's going on. Cause I want to know if I'm just seeing it by myself. Like, am I the only one seeing it? Am I the only one noticing it? And am I the only one caring? I keep on seeing it. It's patterns. I keep on seeing these patterns, and I don't know if anyone else is seeing them. So I'm trying to get clarity on if I'm the only one seeing them, or you know, if other people are seeing them. So um take a listen to this, and then I'll discuss. But I need to know it. Like, I can't be the only one seeing these patterns in the direction of what this reality is pushing towards, and it's weird.
To bring to light the problem with globalization being used by the power elite controllers to increase full spectrum dominance in every aspect of our lives in order to profit from and continue their hidden business activities of human trafficking, mass slave labor, and unlimited access to the world's children, is why this topic is being discussed. The globalization agenda of the Great Reset is intended by the NAA to usher in the One World Order, or Agenda 2030, as the fourth industrial wave, transitioning humanity into transhumanism and technocratic control, which is planned to bring the complete and total slavery of the entire global population on the Earth's surface. To achieve this Great Reset, an imaginary and concocted global pandemic has been created in which the last vestiges of human rights that are protected under the United States Constitution and the law of one of which it represents are being viciously and ruthlessly attacked by the Antichrist forces. The U.S. Constitution is the foundation of our economic and social system, and it has outperformed the rest of the world's other social and economic systems for centuries. But, according to the founder and chief executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, Americans shouldn't have a say in this matter. We are supposed to transfer all our wealth and resources for the elite pedophiles to decide how to take complete control over our lives whether we like it or not. This is a radical move towards collectivism in which all personal autonomy, individuality, and self-sovereignty is intended to be permanently destroyed, which is a remarkable and dangerous moment for personal freedom in the United States and across the planet.
Does that sound about accurate? Like, does that sound about something that's going on right now? Because I'm seeing it, but I don't I'm trying to figure out if anyone else is seeing it. I'm trying to figure out like, yo, do you not see what's going on? Do we not see what's happening? Do we not noticing it? Okay, right? Now, we're going to listen to another part in the chat and then tell me, do this sound familiar? Okay, we're going to listen to another part in the chat. Another clip, and tell me, do this sound familiar? I'm watching these patterns. I'm watching this happens. I'm watching this, and I'm just curious if anyone else sees it. But tell me if you took notes to some of these things in your life. In your life. Now, this is pertaining to you. If you haven't took note to this, please don't put a one in the chat. If you've seen and noticed some of these things, then put a one in the chat.
Take note and pay attention to those in positions of globalist power or in the governments that are promoting the globalization socialism agendas of the World Economic Forum and the Davos, Switzerland elites. Proclamations from Prince Charles and other elite world leaders, as well as those politicos on board with the globalist agendas, are publicly talking about changing the entire world all at once and soon. The scale of change that globalist elites are calling for through the vehicle of the Great Reset requires the implosion of the current world structure in order to lay the foundations for their one world order tyranny. Pay attention to the flowery words and empty promises propagandizing the Great Reset with online pictures of deliriously happy people with key phrases like, "You'll own nothing and be happy." This is the largest attempted stealing and transfer of national wealth and power for instigating global human slavery under the Luciferian Covenant, along with the theft of every last drop of global human resources through an orchestrated pandemic with the strong-arm response of bullies designed to abolish Western culture. Expecting that nations hand over the reins of regional power to the power elite controllers. That finalizes their long-term plans to finally strip away all human rights, in which they own everything and everyone and begin the systematic confiscation of personal property, individual choice, and the extermination of the undesirables. So, what is globalization exactly, and how are they packaging globalization socialism as the savior of humanity, which the globalists tell us is designed to create more equity and fairness between all of the peoples and nations?
Now let me break down what's that saying, right? Let me break down what it's saying. It's basically saying that what we're watching is people who are out to destroy the world pretend as if they are the saviors of the world. So we're watching people who want to, put the world into a zombie state, basically, make us conform to different formats of this uh reality, right? Make us null, void, docile, whatever you want to call it, right? You're watching this, but they're targeting our youth. They are targeting the children, right? Because we're watching more children become runaways, more different variations of things take place on Roblox, Fortnite, right? If you look at some of the people that they're putting in the forefront of this, like Aiden Ross, different streamers that play Call of Duty, different streamers that play games, um, they are putting these people in our kids' eyesight as idols, right? But the direction that they're taking our youth is a troublesome direction, right? It's more so of the stuff that's going on. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. Look at what's taking place. So this is why I say, you know, we got to pay attention. We got to, you know, look into this more. But people are not, seeing it. People are not uh you know, people don't want to open their eyes. People don't want to pay attention. And it's not to say like it's not everybody. You have individuals that's paying attention to this. You have individuals that's seeing it. You have individuals who's trying to break out of it, snap out of it, wake up the collective, all of that stuff, bring back knowledge, push some type of understanding out there. They might be doing it in different variations of ways. Yeah, a lot of people are doing it in different variations of ways. Everyone are trying to get it out there in different variations of ways. Getting back to the law of one, right? Is just people doing it in different variations of ways. Everybody got their own way of doing it. It's not to say whose way is the right way, whose way is this way, whose way is that way. As long as you get back to the first God, world creator, founder, race, emerald order, amethyst order, gold order, unifying the earth race lineage through spiritual healing and freedom to enter IEFC, supporting. Now, these are just names, right? Because all of these things is what I would say like titles, and man created this stuff, but the best way I can give it to you is through the words that we created. So don't try to hold on to the word that you hear, right? Don't fall for the spell that's in the word, right? Just listen to what I'm saying, right? Listen in between the spell that's in the word, right? Indigo Grail lineage to awaken and evolve into the diamond sun, right? Supporting all humanity to regenerate DNA towards diamond sun, gold sun, right? This is to awaken the DNA, the fire codes that is in the DNA, right? Educate hidden history, founders records, law of oneness, CDT, plates, bioregenesis, right? This is regenerating biochemical. This is inside the body through knowledge and wisdom. We can regenerate the body, putting back the old knowledge, understanding how to eat, how to control our digestive system, put back fruits and vegetables. But this is for the indigo grail line, right? So it's not for everybody, but some people down here have to put back certain things into their body in order to awaken. But they have put a number of things in the way to stop you from awakening, to prevent you from having this Kundalini awakening, whatever you want to call it. Somewhere long ago, someone decided to hide the knowledge of this. And now that some of us are, pushing past it, reaching for a deeper understanding, now they have a problem. Now we are getting a little bit of, pushback because it has hit us all in the face. It hit us all in the face at the same time, right? So we have to educate, allow free will choice of what agenda humanity follows, right? That's why I say everybody ain't everything ain't for everybody, and everybody ain't gonna make it. That's why I say that. Everything ain't for everybody, and everybody ain't going to make it because it is just to allow this. It's not going to say everybody going to want it, but allow this, allow free will choice, and so on and so on. Uphold certain variations, so on and so on. Right? So, um, unconditional love, respect, natural laws, right? These are some of the things that we have to bring back. These are some of the things that we have to allow, right? Connection directly with God, but it's as you know it. It's as you know it. Some people might come to this understanding in different forms, but it's to be governed, God sovereign free, right? It's the cosmos. It is the connection that you have with the stars and the universe. It is something with inside the body. It is a frequency. It's something that you can't see, but you know it's there. You know it's there. You might not be able to see it, but you know it's there.
I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. Threefold Founder Flame, art by Omnilove 3. The cosmic trinity of the three universal founder rays of the solar Rishi. There are three original primal order sound fields that make up the ray aspects of our entire universal creation in the universal time matrix. These founder trinity flames embody as the guardian host to protect the cosmic sovereign law and the divine right of spiritual liberation for all living things in creation to evolve as God sovereign free. The three universal founder rays are the universal trinity and are comprised of the blue ray mother arc, violet magenta ray.
Sorry. The store up the street was some false advertisement, and the lady kept on trying to overcharge me for a deal that was supposed to be. So anyway,
Ray Father Arc, and the Golden Ray Son of Christos. The Universal Trinity is the first light of the 113D blue flame toned as KEE. The second light of the 114D gold flame toned as RA. The third light of the 115D violet flame toned as SJ. Together they make the trinity that generates the sound tones of the KEE-RASHA, the threefold founder flame of our entire universal time matrix. These are three original primal order sound fields that make up the ray aspects of our entire universal creation in the universal time matrix.
so this is what I'm saying. Like these are primary sound fields, right? But this is trying to understand the GSF, right? GSF is God sovereign free, right? God, you're sovereign, you're free. This is in your mind, right? This is universal law. This is universal knowledge. But there's still laws of the sea, which is the holy sea within inside of you, which is, operates on marine laws or admiralty laws, if you want to say, right? And then there's laws of this land, which man created different variations of laws of this land. But it doesn't take away the operations of the laws of the sea, and that's the holy sea which is inside of you, right? And it doesn't take away the operation of the laws of the universe, which is the mind, right? So this is trying to give you guys a grander understanding of that. All that is and all that will be is the different variations of things. But you would have to get into your self. You would have to take an understanding of yourself in order to get into your light body, in order to get into these stations of identity, so on and so forth. A lot of people are afraid to step into these different stations of identities and identify themselves. A lot of people are afraid to, step into a different version of themselves because you have to be uncomfortable in those states because you don't know. It's like knowing yourself all over again. And, you already know what you learned what you learned, and so on and so forth. So you're trying to, push past things, you know. But if you guys want to just have a greater understanding. You guys see the videos, you guys see us out here, you guys see exactly what we are doing in the real world. What we are doing, we are making the connection with people, right? Don't whatever's going on the internet, that's what's going on the internet, right? When it comes to transparency, I think we have been fully transparent with our collective, with what we're doing and everything that we're talking about, despite all of the feelings and emotions that might be involved, despite everything that they're pushing, despite everything that they're saying, right? We are just trying to bring people into a grander understanding of their mind, a grander understanding of the powers of love and wisdom, right? And the connection of, because this is your universal mind. If you see your universal mind matrix, right? It tells you power. You see that purple right there? That's power, right? You see that yellow right there? That's love. See that turquoise right there? That is wisdom, right? We're trying to bring people into a greater collective of this, right? And it might be in different forms, it might be in different ways. No one knows who's connecting with who and what verbiage they're using. It's just a vibe, you know it's just a vibe, and sometimes you just have to feel that vibe. And when you feel that vibe, you just ride it. It's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to you ain't going to be able to take that conversation back to the water cooler at work. You ain't going to be able to take that conversation back to the friend group in the city. You ain't going to be able to take that conversation back to, whoever it is that you going back to, right? But occasionally you will run across pockets pockets of knowledge. And when you have a chance to run across pockets of knowledge, I just hope you dwell in it. I just hope you bask in it. And it doesn't matter how it's coming, it doesn't matter how they putting it. If you're picking it up, I hope you're picking up the good stuff. I hope you're picking up the stuff that's valuable to you. I hope you're picking up the stuff that works for you. I hope you're picking up the stuff that you need, right? But in the meantime, in between time, you know, keep on doing what you're doing. That is sharing a human experience. Because that's what we're doing. We're all here sharing a human experience. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, but it's my birthday. We got people out there. Maybe I'll do an interview with the people out there or go live from out there, but it's a nice day. I'm going to enjoy the day.
I said you mad, you mad, you mad, you mad cause they love me. They wanna vibe with love is love. 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 Oh, 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 yeah. Seems you got problems every day. Always got trouble coming your way. If you gon' dish it out, then take it. If you gon' wish it out, just face it. And don't be mad to hear me say, you mad, you mad, you mad, you mad cause they love me. Love me. They
They
wanna
wanna
vibe with love
love
is
is
love. They wanna vibe with love is love. They wanna vibe with love is love. They wanna vibe with love is love. Yeah. Always what's happened to you. How about them crazy things you do? If you gon' dish it, then eat it. Hungry ego and you feed it. Starve yourself of what is true. Because you're mad, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad cause they love me. I said you're mad, you're mad, you're mad, you're mad cause they love me. They wanna vibe with love is love. 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 Yeah. Ooh, they love me, they love me, they love me. Ooh, yeah. They
love,
love me, they love
love,
me, they love
love
me.
me.
Ooh, because you mad, you mad, you mad, you mad cause they love me.